Ayubowan, Vanakkam. I'm Vayoni Dimel. This is Boston Lanka News, bringing you news, views, and entertainment from Boston and USA. What are the chances of the United National Party coming to power again? Sajith Premadasa responds. Harvard University hosts a conference on security risks of the South Asian region. U.S. Department of Justice asks a long prison sentence for the Canadian Sri Lankan who pleaded guilty in supporting terrorism. Sri Lankan mission to the UN in New York moves to a new office. US and Sri Lanka discuss the military bilateral relationships and demining efforts. The main opposition, the United National Party, held its May Day rally together with the major Tamil party, Tamil National Alliance, in Jaffna, as UNP spokesman said, aiming to forge ethnic unity in the post-war era. Meanwhile, the pro-reformist members of the UNP, led by the deputy leader Sajith Premadasa, held a separate rally in Colombo to commemorate the death anniversary of former President R. Premadasa, who was killed by an LTT suicide attack on the May Day of 1993 in Colombo. Boston Lanka spoke to MP Sajith Premadasa few days prior to the May Day celebrations. Mr. Premadasa, you're planning a separate meeting on May Day in Colombo when the official UNP May Day rally will be held in Jaffna. Some in your party do not like this. Could you explain why you are having a separate meeting without joining the May Day rally in Jaffna?
I think this suggestion of a separate meeting is a complete misperception and total and absolute ignorance of what has taken place as far as our Premadasa commemoration activities are concerned. My father was assassinated in 93, 1st of May. Ever since his demise, from 94 onwards, on each and every 1st of May, we have had our Premadasa commemoration program. And that has taken precedence over all other activities. So I think this idea of having a separate celebration and a commemoration instead of participating in the UNP May Day rallies is a complete misnomer. And it's a mischievous piece of information that is spread by various political forces who do not understand Sri Lankan politics, nor do they have any information, any correct information on what has happened in Sri Lanka.
Many think that UNP has not been fulfilling its duty as the main opposition in Sri Lanka, and many attributes this to the infighting and especially the leadership struggles in the party. Some say that Rajapaksa regime loves to have Ranil Wickremesinghe as the leader of the UNP. Do you really think that there is a chance for UNP to come to power in near future?
Well, certainly, I think it's very important that the United National Party unites for the right reasons. And we should be united for the purpose of victory rather than to perpetuate our stay in opposition. We have to understand the whims and fancies, the aspirations, the expectations of the 20 million people of Sri Lanka. And as a party, we have to articulate a constructive and progressive forward-thinking message and vision, which is credible and also which fulfills the aspirations of the people of our country. If we unite to ensure that we gain electorally, then I think as a party we can succeed, most certainly. And, you have a great deal of political observers and pundits who are interpreting the present situation in the United National Party and conjuring up doomsday scenarios for our party. But you have to understand, for 17 years, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, from 77 to 94, were in the political doldrums, but they managed to unite for the purpose of victory, and they succeeded in electoral politics. So the most important issue is we have to win the hearts and minds of the people of our country.
The Harvard University, the Kennedy School of Government recently hosted a US South Asia Leader Engagement Conference to discuss and strategize about how to face key security issues of the South Asian region. Chaminda Hettiarachchi, the Associate Director of the Regional Center for Strategic Studies, was a participant at the conference representing Sri Lanka. Regional Center for Strategic Studies is a South Asian regional think tank based in Colombo. Chaminda, could you tell us briefly about the US South Asia Leader Engagement Program at Harvard?
Thank you. Actually, it's an honor to be in the program because, as I know, Boston Lanka is very popular among Sri Lankans, especially people who are in the policy and people who are like among the universities and academia. So it's it's honor to be in the program. The basic idea is to engage South Asian leads from military, academia, diplomatic circles, as well as non-government organizations in disaster management, how to collaborate and cooperate in disasters in South Asia. So this is sponsored by NISA, that is Near East South Asia, and Asia Pacific. This is based in Washington DC, and Asia Pacific Center based in Hawaii. Along with them, Harvard Kennedy School is conducting this as an annual program. This is the second year. It's going to be also in the next year, but maybe based on another relevant topic to South Asia.
Your organization, a Regional Center for Strategic Studies, is a think tank for the South Asian region. Could you share a little bit about your organization?
The idea is doing research and relevant projects in security studies and international relations, particular issues related to South Asia. So the uniqueness of this institution is actually this started in 1992, a long time ago, as a regional organization. If you look at our structure, our research focus, as well as people involved, they are all not really only Sri Lankan, but that is South Asian. So what we currently do is we have been doing a lot of we call them traditional security issues like nuclear disarmament, problems in South Asia, regional integration. But in addition to that, now we are more focusing on so-called non-traditional security challenges like water, environment security, energy security, and relevant non-traditional security challenges in South Asia. So,
since your organization is involved in conflict resolution, let me ask you this. There were some recent incidents that may bring some challenges to Sri Lanka's religious harmony. I'm talking about the attempt to relocate the Muslim mosque in Dambulla. Do you think such incidents will have any impact on religious harmony?
I don't think that the religious harmony is, I think, one of strong, I would say, fabric of Sri Lankan society. So maybe there can be some events and some kind of tensions, but if you consider the overall trends, overall development, I don't think Sri Lanka can have some religious tension, because there have been linguistic, ethnic issues, but when it comes to religion issues, I don't think it is sustainable, even though some groups can create problems. And I'm sure, given the nature, the way the country has been, developing, evolving, religion has more to do with unifying than division. So I'm sure within a very short period of time, there will be some reconciliation process by religious leaders as well as other communities in the country. And I don't think that religion is going to be a division factor in Sri Lanka. compared to many countries in the region.
The U.S. Department of Justice is seeking a 15-year prison sentence for a Canadian who pleaded guilty to terrorism conspiracy for his role in a plot to supply weapons to the Tamil Tigers in Sri Lanka. In a sentencing report filed in a Brooklyn, New York court, U.S. Attorney Loretta Lynch said, Ramanan Mailvaganam had committed a gravely serious offense by attempting to procure equipment for the Tamil rebels. The defense has asked the judge to sentence Mailvaganam to time served and release him, arguing the Sri Lankan civil war at the heart of the case was now over. Mailvaganam is accused of trying to buy night vision goggles and computer equipment and communications equipment. His sentencing was scheduled for Friday. The permanent mission of Sri Lanka to the United Nations in New York moved to a new location this week. The government has been renting space for the mission for over 57 years. Last year, the government of Sri Lanka made a decision to purchase premises, and the acquisition was facilitated by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The new premises, which exceed 10,000 square feet, will save the country foreign exchange in excess of Sri Lankan rupees 30 million annually. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Dr. Palitha Kohana said, now Sri Lanka has its own house in New York for the first time since joining the United Nations in 1955, and it will remain Sri Lanka's own. Deputy Permanent Representative Ambassador Major General Shavindra Silva said, the colossal amount now paid in rent could be saved as we were to purchase even the residences that we occupy. The U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Plans, Programs and Operations, Walter D. Given, visited Sri Lanka last week. He is responsible for providing executive leadership, management and guidance for U.S. government global security. While in Sri Lanka, the Deputy Assistant Secretary Given met with Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Army Commander General Jagat Jayasuriya and Navy Commander Vice Admiral D.W.A.S. Disanayake to discuss the military bilateral relationships and support towards demining. He also visited Kilinochchi and Vaunia. In the north, he met with various non-governmental organizations to discuss the progress of demining activities in the region. The U.S. has provided over $34.5 million to aid Sri Lanka's demining activities since 1993. That concludes our news edition. We meet you again with another news edition of News, Views and Entertainment from Boston and USA. Till then, goodbye.